The Spanish Announce Table.
Tom, it is episode 340 of the Spanish Announce Table. Right there, SpanishAnnounceTable.net for all the social media links and the donations you might need. We talk about pro wrestling, AEW, WWE, NXT, Impact, ROH, GCW. By the way, we were mentioned again on GCW. Shout out to Kevin Gill.
Love GCW.
The Backyard Wrestling 3 was great from an undisclosed location. They are not going to disclose it no matter how much you try to bribe them. Listen, love that show. If you didn't catch that, go check it out on WatchProWrestling.com.
Or Fight TV.
Or Fight TV still has it? Oh.
Yep, Fight TV. Because Fight TV will allow you to order the pay-per-view, and then you can watch it as many times as you want.
Perfect. Okay.
Since you purchased
Great.
it. So,
then go be honest and go pay for it. God, I didn't know.
Yeah, support our friends at GCW.
Not super familiar with the Fight TV, so I got to get more on it now that we're watching the GCW. Tom, hey, pro wrestling came and went, but before we get into that, by the way, 2 weeks away, Tom, from our 8-year anniversary show. What the hell are we going to do for that? I mean, we're getting old.
Well, here you go.
We weren't old already, but.
Here you go. You can either, if you're joining us live on the YouTube channel right now in our chat, you can put in there what you think, and we can spitball it as we're recording this episode, or on Twitter, use hashtag #TweetTheTable and tell us any ideas that you have. A couple of times on anniversary shows, we've done things such as having you contribute with some of your audio clips that, talks about your favorite moments in wrestling, your favorite moments in this podcast history, things like that. So if you want to do that, again, we can kind of go through that idea with using hashtag #TweetTheTable on Twitter. Hashtag #TweetTheTable on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I know, a lot of T's there. And then you can email us, or on the YouTube, you can send us a little idea there as well. So 8 years. I'm excited.
8
How
years.
many weeks? 3
2
weeks?
weeks. In 2 weeks.
2
Not
weeks.
next week, but the next week. Man, crazy times. And who knows? Who knows what we're going to get into. But Big Josh.
July 22nd.
July 22nd. Big Josh has joined the chat. I encourage anybody watching live to join the chat and talk about pro wrestling with us. Big Josh said he didn't think he was going to make it, but he did, and we're happy he did. Big Josh, give us some ideas on the 2 weeks. But let's get into something, Tom, that is not going to make you as happy.
Well, hold on. Before we get to any bad news, last week's beer sponsor of the week, Josh. So, by the way, if you want to become our beer sponsor of the week, hit us up either through email or any other means of communication, DMs, and we can talk about how you can become the week's beer sponsor of the week. You know what I'm saying?
Slide into them DMs. All right. Tom, this is a third installment of something that has become a
I don't give a shit now.
Sad point.
I got some news for you, Tim. So just go ahead. I know.
All right. Well, a couple of weeks ago, Tom and I put a lot of money into this MJF coin, and against my advice, Tom put everything. Everything, Tom?
Everything.
And it's taken quite a tumble. It took quite a tumble its first week, had an even bit more of a stumble last week. But Tom, it got worse. Tom, it is at $1.72 per MJF. It was down 37% this week, and then 80% overall. Tom, I'm sorry. I don't know how that makes you feel.
Well, I almost got my revenge on AEW Dynamite last night.
Oh,
if you recall, someone.
That was it.
Well, no, it wasn't me, but I have friends in low places, and they'll come and get you.
You know what you once told me is that you threatened somebody once by saying that you have friends with no futures.
I do. I got friends with no future, so you better watch yourself because they'll do things for me just out of trust and loyalty. And MJF, we almost got you. We almost got you, pal. And if you don't get this fucking coin up, we're going to keep getting you. And here's the thing. I stole that car back, you assholes, okay? I got that car. So you look out for me. If you see me in the car, don't say fucking hi. I'm going places. I'm not in Papa Shango's basement anymore. I don't give a shit. I'm out of there. He's coming after me. I'm coming after MJF. We better get this fucking coin off,
Tom,
or I am going to unleash hell.
Papa Shango is after you as well, Tom?
Yeah, I escaped. I escaped.
You didn't pay your bill, Tom?
Look, I escaped.
Tom, I thought you were working out another deal.
Look.
Tom.
Don't ask questions
Tom,
you don't want
the
answers to.
I can't use Papa Shango's basement if I need it, Tom.
Look.
This
Things had
MJF Coin, goddammit.
Decisions had to be made, Tim, so you're going to have to deal with it. I'll make good on it later. MJF, though, you motherfucker with your good-looking scarves, you better get this fucking coin up, or whoa. I don't even got words to say. I just got angry little baby hand fists that are just going to hit you upside the head. That guy almost got you last night, and there might be more to come. We're after you, MJF. The Coin Nation is going to get you if you don't get this price. If you don't get this price point up. Motherfucker.
Yeah, Tom put everything. We can't stress this enough, Tom.
I have nothing, and there is nothing more scarier than a man with nothing to lose. Haven't you seen an action movie? Motherfuckers.
Haven't you seen an action movie? I'm sorry to make light of your situation, Tom, but I think that might be a top candidate for episode title. Haven't you seen an action movie? Anyway, Tom.
I'm mad.
So wait,
I got my car back. I stole it. I did it. What are you going to do about it, MJF? Coin Nation's after you if you don't get this price up.
MJF is going to do anything about it. The dealership might do something about that, and the police might do something about that, and Papa Shango apparently is going
and Papa
to
Shango, if you even think about coming after me.
Do you know the last time what he did to me when we didn't pay the bill, dude?
Oh, if I have stories about my time in the hideout in Papa Shango's basement that I don't even want to say. Maybe I'll say it for the anniversary show.
For our fans, when we have to use Papa Shango's basement for whatever we
shit's
may need
getting
it,
real.
Like he doesn't take American dollars or MJF coin. Like it's interesting.
And don't ask questions you don't want the answers to. Okay.
Let's talk wrestling to get us in the mood, get us out of there. Oh man. Do we have an ultimate one in the chat, Tom? Is that what I'm seing? You should
Look out! Look at my attitude now.
Look at
hey! Look at that! We got our friends joining. Josh, you're a friend too. I'm not saying like I'm making light of this. I'm just happy that you and other friends are now in the chat. That's what I'm talking about. Hell yeah!
Hell yeah! As Austin would say. Now, Tom, let's talk about pro wrestling. We had a fun week. We did get mentioned on Game Changer Wrestling, Backyard Wrestling 3. That was a fun show. I don't know if you managed to catch any of that.
Yes.
We were discussing the referee looking like he was wearing prison pajamas or an old-timey swimsuit.
They got fun refs in GCW. I will say that.
Check them out on Fight TV. And, Tom, what's up with the AEW Dynamite this week? As if you can hardly contain your excitement.
I tell you what, this was a fun week in pro wrestling. For new time listeners, as I like to call you, we recap AEW. We're an AEW focused show because that is our favorite current show in pro wrestling. So we're going to do a deep dive into last night's episode. But before we do that deep dive, Tim, I want to get your reaction. Last night was Road Rager from AEW. Now, this was the first show since the pandemic to have fans at full capacity, assuming they would sell the tickets, right, for an AEW Dynamite. What did you think, first off, of the fans in an AEW show?
So, leaving Daly's place, I was a little worried because it became such a unique feel to the show that I felt like, man, who knows what it's going to be like. Albeit, I figured they were going to get a good response. I didn't think like, oh, the crowd's going to be sitting on their hands or anything like that. But seeing this crowd and hearing that crowd and just adding to the thing about crowds that I forgot about is that the visuals can change with each show, and they can be, you know, the way they move the camera in and out and how they kind of angle it and how they present the show at whatever venue they're at can change, and that provided this whole new feel with this crowd energy that was just blowing the doors off the place.
Yeah, what I thought, which was fun, is how the crowd reacted to what they wanted to react to. So we'll get into it in a little bit here, but MJF and Chris Jericho had their own, you know, promo battle, for lack of a better term. And some of the lines that I think Jericho thought were going to hit hard didn't necessarily do that. But then some of his lines that he said the crowd, got a good chuckle out of that I don't think he was expecting. So it's going back to those things where you have to listen to the crowd and say like, oh, they like this move or this joke or, this intensity. So I'm going to lean into that. Or if if they don't like certain things, I'm going to stray away and try to, do a U-turn into something that the crowd will react to. So I thought that was interesting to see the crowd affect the product. Cause again, in Daly's place for so long, the wrestlers that were ringside were just going along with what AEW wanted. So if Jericho said, a silly line and they wanted a big pop, well, the wrestlers pop for him, So I thought that was interesting. It was a welcome change. And again, another thing, and we'll get into it, but there was a surprise moment and such a weird dynamic across the board. But again, we'll get into that here in just a second, but let's kick it off. It was, again, Road Rager from AEW Dynamite, and it started with a strap match. It was Cody Rhodes versus, not able to make his entrance or get on this show, we're sorry, pal, Cutie Marshall taking on Cody Rhodes. As mentioned, Cody gets his entrance. He comes from out of the middle, which I still think is weird. It was a strap match. Tim, what'd you think of this opening match?
I honestly was surprised at how much I liked this strap match. I was really worried that I was going to be like, this is going to fucking blow ass. And I'm happy to say it did not blow ass, which is a weird thing. I normally don't say I'm happy to say that it didn't blow ass, but, different context, yeah. Right? This is pro wrestling. Got to focus. I like this a lot, man. I like QT played his part really well here, and for whatever reason, they made the obligatory moments of the dragging the thing. It felt good, and maybe this is the crowd, going back to the crowd. We're just ready for this, right? Like, maybe this does not come off as well in Daly's place, so I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too. I thought this was Cutie's best match in his Dynamite career. I think it is
hands down.
See
what I did there?
I do. I think it was interesting, though, because it did feel like the end of this feud. Now, obviously, again, we're foreshadowing a little bit of a change of direction for Cody, which we'll get into in just a second. But I like the match a lot. I'm just not that big of a fan of a strat match. I know it's old school, and AEW likes to do the innovative flips and shit, but also pay homage to the, NWA, WCW time period. But a strat match, you hit four corners, that makes you win. Like, I would just sprint and do it American Gladiator style and just fucking hit the thing.
It is hard to believe, especially with the strap being that long. I get it if it's like 2 feet and you're not getting away from me, motherfucker. Like, but then you can't use it as much, right? And they can't do as many things. So I get that. But yes, I would probably prefer, it would be the last gimmick match I ever ask for. But again, they pulled it off well.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They did it really well. I just don't know if I want to see in another blow-off feud between, let's just say, Jericho and MJF, a strap match, for example.
It could have been as cool if QT Marshall would have done what you said, right? Like, they ring the bell and he just bam, and he's like, "You idiot!" He's like, "You're an idiot. You're an idiot," right? And then just like,
that's what I've been saying this entire time. You're a fucking idiot.
You're an idiot. I'm the brains, right? Yeah. And then move on.
Now, one thing that was interesting during this match is the lights went out for a quick second, and then they come back on. We'll get into that in just a moment.
Yeah.
I will say, though, because this was the first show on the road, and because, as I've said, I don't think we need any more talent in front of the camera. We need it all behind the camera. I actually fell for this. I thought it was a legit AEW fucked up. Now, I know Cody played the like, what happened thing, but I was like, well, he's probably just doing this to cover his team's ass, but I thought it was a real mess up.
I watched for a second. Like, my initial reaction was that was on purpose, right? Because it was too clean, right? It was literally like off on, and I was like, man, that's an entire, like, you lost everything. You know what I mean? Like, at once, and then we're able to get it back on like that. Is like, nah, But then, Cody was convincing, right? And they were kind of like, weather in the area, and I'm not going to fact check that.
Yeah.
So I was just like, all right, whatever, who cares, right? Let's watch this strap match. And then, I mean, clearly it was planned, as we'll get into later.
Yes. So after the match, Cody gets the victory. He celebrates. He goes to the back. Then we get a commercial break. And after the commercial break, we have Tony Schiavone in the ring, and he introduces the AEW World Heavyweight Champion, Kenny Omega, with Don Callis. First off, love how Tony Schiavone undercuts Don Callis still, even when he's doing the in-ring interview, just like Don Callis. Credit to him.
I I can't remember what he said. He was like, and Don Callis or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like his whole tone and demeanor changed.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was great.
So
Don Callis' insult though.
Well, so Don Callis' comeback. This is, again, one of the great things of having the live crowd and having to react to it. And Don Callis is one of the best to do it. So they get into the ring, Don Callis and Kenny Omega. They kind of shoo Tony Schiavone to get out of the ring because he's not needed here. But before they could even really get into their promo, the crowd starts chanting at Don Callis, "You got fired. You got fired," which was great because that's tying into the partnership with Impact and AEW, and that's obviously alluding to in Impact Wrestling. Don Callis got fired on screen, and if you read the dirt sheets, off screen as well. But that line from Don Callis was like, "Real men don't quit; they get fired."
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, and I'm going to talk about this. In some situations, I agree with Don Callis here, right? Like, no. If I want to leave and I quit, that's different. But like, if I don't want to leave and you're going to fire me, I don't want to pull that like, well, I quit before you fired me. That's not, right. No, like, real man's like, no, you fucking tell me. You fucking sit me here, you look at me, you tell me, get the fuck out of here. People have done that, but, you know what I mean? Like, I made them do it. Like, all right. Yeah, I'm fucking out of here. Then, you know what I mean? Like, fuck you too.
But real men, they don't quit. Right? They get fired.
I want you to say it to me and be like, yeah, I mean, I get it. And then I'll be like, all right, I'm out. It's probably deserving.
So Don Callis essentially recaps what Kenny Omega said the previous week, where Kenny Omega's beat Rey Fenix, he's beat Moxley, he's beat Jungle Boy. There's no one else for him to beat in AEW, so he's going to go defend his other championships. He'll come back when there's a worthy contender. All the while, the crowd is chanting, "We want Hangman." Mm-hmm. And this was one of the greatest things about this segment. There's a lot of great things, but this was the first great thing about this segment is the crowd is chanting, "We want Hangman." So then the Dark Order's music hits, and Evil Uno, who is the mouthpiece for the Dark Order, walks into the ring, and they are talking about Hangman Adam Page, and neither one of them says Hangman Adam Page.
His fucking lines about Don Callis too, when he was like, with your creepy uncle or whatever.
Yeah.
He wants to hear him. And then he was like, hey, the men are talking. I loved all of that. Yeah. Evil Uno, we say this, but I like this guy more every time I see him on TV.
Yeah.
Like he's showing more and more personality with each minute of TV. I love it.
Yeah. But I really do. I love this thing that Evil Uno and Kenny Omega are playing on of, we know who we're talking about, but I'm not going to be the first one to say his name. Like, you know who I'm talking about, so I want you to acknowledge who the number one contender is. And then on Kenny Omega's side, he's saying, no, this guy isn't worth my time. I'm not going to say his name. If you want it to be said, you say it first.
Instead of acknowledge me, it's acknowledge him. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's my best friend, or our best friend in regards to Dark Order, which shout out Dark Order, join the Dark Order. Here's
That's
a t-shirt.
A fucking awesome shirt, by the way.
Love it.
Show it again.
Love
Show it again. Show it off. I'll get
Pro
you on the
wrestling
big screen. Yeah, look at that.
Look at that. There's Evil Uno right there for you.
Look at that. Sticking his tongue out, being all weird.
Love it. So I love, though, that it is acknowledge him, because it's our best friend has all the tools, all the talent to beat you. You know it. I know it. Fucking acknowledge it. And Kenny Omega, being the brash, cocky world heavyweight champion, says, fuck that. Fuck that. Now, here's the fun part. Evil Uno, Omega going back and forth. Then the Good Brothers come out, which again, I'll get into in the main event, but I'm going to go red in the face until this fucking changes. But anyhow, in time.
They're over, baby. Right? Isn't that what he said?
Oh, yeah. He retweeted me, quote tweeted me and said that. Babe. Called me babe. Look here, pal. You see what I did to MJF, motherfucker? I can really fuck you up. I like MJF. I don't like you. Anyhow. So the Good Brothers come out and they're jumping the Dark Order and they're beating their ass. And then you also got, Cutler and the rest of the super elite, except for the Young Bucks, beating up on the Dark Order, which brings out Hangman Adam Page. And he clears house, right? Hits one Good Brother, hits the tall Good Brother. They're out of the ring. And it leads to this moment.
One of them is good and one of them is brother, right?
They're both kissing cousins, in my opinion. Yeah. So they have this moment that is just reminiscent of Revolution 2020, where Hangman is in the buckshot lariat position to just tear Kenny Omega's head off, and he doesn't do it. Now, if you go back to Revolution, it was, is he my friend? Is he not? Should I be friends with this guy, or should I, tell him to go fuck himself? Fast forward to last night, I believe, and this is how I interpreted the moment, is can I get this move on this guy? Like if I go for the buckshot lariat and I miss, does that prove that I'm the loser who I am?
Yeah.
Or can I get this and then become, the best in the world?
I didn't even necessarily get that as much as just, I think I didn't pick that up because I didn't get that facial detection from Paige. Although I think that might have been the better thing with the story.
That's how I took it. Yeah.
More was what I got more out of it was that he was just kind of like, now it's you and me, and you see, like I would have fucking killed you, and it's coming for you.
Well, and that's a great way to interpret that moment because he comes into the ring. They have a face-off where each of them are talking shit, and that could have easily been what Hangman was saying, is like, you saw what happened right there. I could have easily knocked you out. And Kenny's like, you don't have the balls and all that. The great thing about Kenny Omega during this entire segment is he wouldn't acknowledge him to Evil Uno, but as soon as Hangman came out with his nonverbals, in his actions, he completely sold that he does not want any of Hangman Adam Page because he knows how good he is. I think the underlying storylines to this major story of the World Championship match is out of this world. It is so good. Now, maybe I'm reading into too much, but I'm having fun reading into all these details. It may be true or may not be true. This is the best story in pro wrestling. I'm done with Roman Reigns and acknowledge me. It's fine, but it ain't number one. It's this story right here. And this was the shit.
Yeah. Hey, first of all, anytime you get JR saying cowboy she is knit is a moment that will live forever. He's still got, for all of his gaffes, and there were plenty, and there were even some in this show. Oh, boy. He still got those moments where you're like, all right, that's good. I like that. I like that.
Well, speaking of JR, after the blow off between Hangman and the Dark Order and the Super Elite and Kenny Omega, we get JR sit down interview with Ethan Page and Darby Allin. And this right here, this segment is the best 2021 representation of Jim Ross. This is how I think he should be used. Mm-hmm. Now, again, I'm just a gas bag in front of a microphone talking to,
he did
talking
his
to
job
YouTube.
really well here. Very quick, very, you know what I mean? Just very to the point, very direct, and very honest. He was like, hey, I'm fucking uncomfortable here. Right?
Well, and that's the thing is he has the clout and he has the reputation to where he can dictate the conversation. He's not overshadowed by the wrestlers in the room. You know what I mean? He's still Jim Ross. So if he needs to call someone on their bullshit, or if he needs to, cut the bullshit and get back on track, he has that clout to do it. So this is where I thought Jim Ross shined the best. On top of that, Darby Allin did good. I'm not saying anything against Darby Allin. Darby Allin, though, I felt like did the babyface promo here. Ethan Page, though, was so good. Acknowledging some of the points that Darby Allin made where, it was 12 years in wrestling for him, but it was Darby Allin's first year and Darby Allin was in the same spot that Ethan Page was. And Ethan Page acknowledging that, yeah, that's true. And that's why I don't fucking like you, pal. Like, that's why I'm going to kick your ass. And so I thought this segment did a really great job of furthering a storyline without just, it's a backstage brawl between two guys that don't like each other. Because the other thing is at the very end, I liked how Ethan Page was like, I'm glad you didn't try to attack me here, Darby. And he's like, yeah, wait till next week. And I'm paraphrasing here, but we still get the payoff of the match next week. So this was fantastic. A coffin match, Ethan Page versus Darby Allin. Again, we'll recap that next week, but that's what we get to look forward to.
I thought this segment was amazing. I like what you said, the tone of the whole thing with JR there. And then just they explained with even leaving some to, like, they left it vague and didn't get into a whole lot of specifics. So there's still more they could go into and dig further, but it actually gave a reason. It was like, oh, I had no clue these guys were tied together at all before. Like, that would have been helpful in the whole beginning of this.
Well, and this is a good thing that they did here because I think I told you this when we were texting about AEW last night, is sometimes, and we'll get into one of their downfalls on the bad side, is sometimes AEW assumes that you know what they know because, well, if you're a hardcore fan, you know that Ethan Page and Darby Allin had these knockdown, drag out wars in Evolve. And to a certain extent, okay, right? Like we don't want to insult the fan, but you're on TNT. This isn't, I sought out AEW on Fight TV because I love AEW.
I saw an ad for this on a finals game, and so I thought,
exactly.
I thought I'd check it out because I remember wrestling.
Yeah,
I saw Sting
exactly.
on the finals.
Right. I was watching game one. Yeah, you're probably going to get some viewers where I was watching game one of the NBA finals between the Milwaukee Bucks and Phoenix Suns. They ran a promo for AEW. They showed Sting, and I heard Jim Ross, and I said, I remember those guys. I'm going to tune in tomorrow night.
Right.
So those people
don't
know who the fuck Darby Allin and Ethan Page are. So I liked in this segment, to your point, they spelled it out a little bit. Again, it wasn't insulting, but it did give you like, oh, they have some history.
Is coffin match just a casket match? Is that the same thing? Are we just putting some?
I believe so. I think
you don't have to drop them from like a
no. I think to AEW's credit, they do a lot of what WWE did, but then try to put their own spin on it. So instead of calling it casket, they're going to call it coffin. And then obviously with the coffin drop, I would not be shocked if Darby Allin wins this by shenanigans. Maybe Sting helps out, but then he puts Ethan Page in the coffin and does the coffin drop into it, and then shuts the coffin, and that's how he wins.
It's always shenanigans. Those damn shenanigans.
Or I wouldn't be shocked if he tries that move. Ethan Page gets out of the coffin, and then Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page beat Darby Allin that way and close the door on him because he missed a coffin drop. I don't know. We'll see.
Hey, all right, anybody just joining us live, you should join the chat, meet some friends. We got some folks watching live here. Are here. Stay tuned. Later, we got Tweet the Table in the show. If you follow us on Twitter and use hashtag Tweet the Table, we'll read your tweets right here on the show, and we're going to get into some of those later with some of the very fine folks watching here on the live show with us.
Yes, indeedy, feed the needy. So let's get back to AEW Dynamite. This was, I don't know. So the next match was Santana, Ortiz, and Hager versus Wardlow and FTR. Again, Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler. Now, the Pinnacle had Tully Blanchard. The Inner Circle had Conan, a pseudo member of like the sixth Beatle,
he's the
kind of thing.
Guy.
Right? Yeah, because like we've seen Conan in previous segments with the Inner Circle, obviously at the Stadium Stampede. But if you go back to when they traveled to Vegas, Conan just showed up out of nowhere. So he's friendly with the Inner Circle. However, this match, I don't know what we got out of it.
And yeah, it didn't advance anything storyline wise here. You know what I mean? Like it was fine. They beat each other up. Yeah, it was fine. And the match was fine. And everybody had their spots good. And FTR is awesome. I'm going to say this, like they had a lot of great, just moves and spots that I thought were really done well. But like, again, there was just no reason at this point. Like I don't want to see another big stipulation match with these two factions again. So like, how do we go away from this, right? Is it the Jericho MJF finally kills
I would
all
hope
of it?
So. That's what I'm hoping, is that the two leaders have their blow off and then we're done, right? Because even a segment that I missed is we did a quick backstage interview with Sammy Guevara with Sean Spears, and then a half-ass chair shot to the shoulder took him out for whatever reason, which I understand what the point was. But Sammy Guevara takes him out with the chair and was like, "This ain't over, bitch." And I was like, okay, like, I get it. The chairman got a chair shot, haha. But I don't know. I like both factions. I do not want either faction to break up. I'm not saying like, let's disband the Inner Circle, let's disband the Pinnacle.
But they need their own things.
Yeah, because here's the thing is what came to my mind as I was watching this match, which again, it was very good, enjoyed all of it, is the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle keep battling about who's the best faction in AEW, like who's the dominant faction. Meanwhile, the Super Elite are over here with the Tag Team Championships and the Heavyweight Champion hanging out, and they're not acknowledging that faction. That's the faction that has all the gold. That's the faction who are the EVPs. Like, go after them. I know the Inner Circle already did, 2 years ago with the Stadium Stampede match, but like, Pinnacle, go that way. Like, we don't need to keep doing Wardlow and Jake Hager stare off at each other because we've had that fight, not 9 million times, but a lot of times.
Specifically, are not going to do anything new with it. I mean, maybe they could, but
yeah, they did the MMA match. That was their peak. Let's move on.
Let's go.
Yeah. So post match, Konnan hits Wardlow with a sock full of pool balls, which is a heel tactic, and that's fine. But then Tully Blanchard chop blocks Konnan, and we're supposed to feel bad for Konnan.
Yeah.
Konnan, you damn near killed Wardlow.
Well,
what did you expect?
But also, like we know Konnan enough to be a tactician that wouldn't just like jump in the ring and do a
well, maybe emotions got the best of him. Yeah, maybe emotions got the best
older,
of him.
right?
Yeah. But I didn't feel bad for Konnan because he attacked Wardlow. So yeah, Tully Blanchard should chop block him. He doesn't want his guys getting hurt.
Nobody should attack Wardlow. Like,
yeah, it's a stupid idea.
Few people in the world should attack Wardlow.
And Konnan ain't it.
Konnan ain't it. We're not it. Like,
we ain't it either. All right, so then after that match and segment, we get Karl Anderson with a video package. And he's focusing on Jon Moxley's IWGP title. And it's announced that next week, I believe, Jon Moxley will be defending his IWGP U.S. title against Karl Anderson. And hey, look, we had it with, another New Japan pro wrestler. I still don't understand how Karl Anderson is in Impact, but he's also showing up in AEW, and now he's representing New Japan. That makes no sense to me. But
to presumably win the title and take it away? Like, why wouldn't you just do that on New Japan TV? Like, I don't get it.
So, anyhow, we get that match. I'm a little disappointed, though, Tim. If the Young Bucks are going to do 17 V-triggers or whatever it was in that match to Jon Moxley, which takes him out for all of this time, I felt like that was underwhelming to say, like, hey, one of our biggest stars in the company is just coming back. There he is. Look at that.
Yeah.
There he is. Look, check him out.
He's going to wrestle this guy.
Who's not even in our company.
One half of a tag team.
Right, and he's not even in our company. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. If you were going to do this, I think you should have had a bigger name than Karl Anderson, right? If it's Okada that comes up in a video package and he says, I'm taking the IWGP U.S. title back to New Japan, Jon Moxley, I got your number. Okay. But Karl Anderson?
But there's also this thing, too, that, like, I'm fine that the forbidden door is open, as they like to call it, to a large extent. But yet I do see why a guy like Vince McMahon would be like, don't fucking mention them. Like, because now I'm like, oh, man, all that cool stuff happened in New Japan, and that title is from New Japan, and you had this cool return in New Japan, and then you guys are going to have this, like, badass match for this title that belongs to New Japan. What the fuck am I watching AEW for? I'm going to go watch the New Japan.
A little of that. Now, the other thing I want to mention, and I did so on our Twitter page at Table Show, which, by the way, we live tweet during AEW Dynamite. So join the conversation there and use hashtag #TweetTheTable, or just respond to some of our tweets as we're live tweeting. But Karl Anderson alluding to, I'm bringing back the IWGP U.S. title to the Bullet Club. The Bullet Club is where New Japan is where the Bullet Club started. And it just feels like talking about the Bullet Club in 2021, and I said this on Twitter, is like going to a karaoke bar and yelling, play Freebird. It's just so played out. Like, come on.
It just really does feel of like, okay, well then go restart that and see if it's going to be as cool again, because like that's all you guys will talk about or allude to or act as though like, well, you remember we did the Bullet Club, so we're the coolest ever. Like it's like, okay,
yeah. And it even has like shades of the Varsity Blondes, how we talked about them last week, where it's like they're just talking about their past. Hey, this guy played football. And I feel like Karl Anderson just goes, hey, remember I did this thing, the Bullet. Yeah.
Now, I get to some extent, right? Like, I get Hall and Nash still rock the NWO because merch sales and shit. And, like, you know what I mean? You want to kind of maybe keep some of that alive. So maybe that's part of the angle. But I don't know. I'm not a fan, I guess. So
yeah, it just feels dated. It feels like you're wearing an Affliction shirt when you talk about the Bullet Club.
Shout out to the chat here, talking with Big Josh. He says, by the way, little FYI, Tom, his birthday is Sunday. He'll be 39, 365 days away from 40.
Hey, happy early birthday, Josh. The greatest future 39-year-old on the planet. And last week's beer sponsor of the week.
By the way, Ultimate One says, wait, who called you babe, T-Mac? That would be Machine Gun Karl Anderson. Explain that story again real quick.
So, on an episode of Dark, and I will still stand by this. I'll tell it to Karl Anderson's fucking face. I don't care. What's he going to do to me? Fucking do a little bullet motion at me? Punk
He's
ass
going to
bitch.
point two fingers at you?
Oh, yeah, look at this. So, I said in a tweet that AEW sent out that Karl Anderson was going to be in action on an episode of AEW, I believe, Dark Elevation. And I said, why? Why in the fuck is a guy that works for Impact Wrestling taking a spot now on a YouTube show? I said this. I go, why is Karl Anderson taking up TV time for AEW? He tweets me and says, because I'm #over, babe, and gives me a kissing emoji. So I said, ... Are you over?
Yeah.
Question mark? Because you're the 6th coolest guy in a faction from 10 years ago. Or however long it is. But
you're
like
the Buff Bagwell of the Bullet Club.
Yeah, if this was a Super Bowl team, let's just say the Bullet Club got to the level of Super Bowl in pro wrestling, right? You'd be the fullback. No one gives a fuck about the fullback. Okay? Cool, bud. You're over. You're
the
not.
Long snapper, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
Well, he's like, you're right. He's the fullback.
He's the fullback.
He's in there running block.
He's featured. You need him, but you don't really need him.
You're going to let him get a 4th and goal from the 1, right?
He's not getting endorsements. He's not being on the cover of Wheaties. He's just the fucking guy that helps the other guys. He's going to endorse the local
barbecue joint, right?
Yeah. He's going to have a car wash. Fuck him. Anyhow.
He will own 2 car washes in your local metro area.
Yeah. So after the commercial break, we get Judas playing. That means only one thing. Chris Jericho's coming out. And the crowd singing Judas, da-da-da-da-da. But MJF was already in the ring.
Chris Jericho gets royalties every time
he
comes out.
Something.
Right? Like
he's getting double, check.
He's double dipping on that, right?
Yeah. But MJF yells, cut it, while Judas is playing because, I almost got him, a fan rushes the ring. And this was what the fuck. Now, breaking kayfabe here. I didn't really do it, but in storyline, you motherfuckers. Anyhow, what? The first show back?
Well,
guys?
so I think I was looking away and I hear, cut it. And it's MJF. And I'm like, what's he saying? And then I just see the camera being all jacked up and Jericho punching somebody in the head. And I was like, oh, shit. And then I kind of figured out what was going on. I don't know if you saw online, somebody has like cell phone camera from behind Jericho. And so you see a whole lot more of it. So the guy rushes and the security guard grabs him and he manages to turn the security guard, right? But he gets him down. And then you see Justin Roberts grab that guy's leg and yank him off of the goddamn stage and then just kind of like fucking throw him down and then fucking turn around and walk off while the security guards take care of the action. I was like, God damn, go Justin Roberts. It was fucking fun.
Well, and hey, the best time to feel like a superhero is when you got security guards around you. So I would do the same thing, right? What's going to happen to me? These guys will take care of you.
Hey, if they need a hand, I gotcha.
Gotcha, motherfucker.
Punk. Yeah. Now I'm going to go sign some fucking autographs.
I'm tough. So we get MJF talking about how, hey, someone else try me, all the fun stuff.
Oh, hey, so that was a masterclass, though, in deflecting away from that and bringing it back here, right? Like he instantly was like, insult the crowd, boo me, motherfuckers, and look right here, right? Like back into this. That was excellent.
Yeah, it was very good. However, I thought that because of the fan, and that was not their fault at all, they kind of started off hot, right? Like, so they couldn't do the like, hello, Jericho. Well, hello, MJF. They had to go right into like, fuck these people and fuck you too. And then now they're like at a level of 6. Yeah.
He was just like, I welcome any of you fat white trash. But he's like, kick your ass. I love Jared's like, well, we don't condone that.
Yeah. It was great. Yeah. So here we go. They have all their fun one-liners. You know, these two together will always have a great promo. This is another one that you could put on a YouTube highlight clip of other promos they've done in the past. But we get to Chris Jericho signs the contract. The stipulation is that MJF demands Chris Jericho has to wrestle 4 matches. And if gets through all 4 matches and all 4 matches have a different stipulation, then he can wrestle MJF. Now, let me do a little fantasy booking for you.
Okay.
So 4 members, then the 5th, it's MJF. Logically, you would say that's FTR, Wardlow, Shawn Spears, then MJF, right? Now, MJF said, I borrowed from your blueprint what you did to Jon Moxley, where Jon Moxley had to face the Inner Circle to then face you. So I think he means that literally. I think Chris Jericho is going to have to wrestle Sammy Guevara, Jake Hager, Santana, and Ortiz to then get to MJF. That would be fucking cool.
Yeah, how does he enforce that they don't take a dive?
Well, then you do stipulations, right? It's first one through thumbtacks, for a tables match, right? Like, that's what I would do, right? To where you couldn't just do the finger poke of doom and one of them makes the dive
still
and falls.
Like just picking up and throwing me through a table. You know what I mean? Like, you have to find a way. But I mean, yes, I love the idea of however somebody come up with that nugget, right? Or you threaten to fire them, right? Like, they get fired if they don't fucking try to win that match. Yeah.
Or this is where ego comes in, right? And Sammy Guevara's like, I'm not laying down for you. What? I'm the future.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I would like it if he's got, all right, so he's going to have to face, Wardlow, right? I'm going to go the other way, right? He's going to have to face Wardlow first one out, right? In a fucking, whatever, you know what I mean? A fucking backyard brawl, right? Whatever, right? Just a thing where you think Wardlow would beat the shit out of him. He finds a way to win. Then you're going to face FTR, right? In a 2-on-1 handicap against the best tag team in the world, finds a way to win that, right? And then it's Tully Blanchard in a fucking some kind of weird ass, right? And then it gets through that. And then, you know, I don't even know what a 4th one would be at that point.
Oh,
right?
well, then it would be Shawn Spears in a chairs match.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah. But he's got to face Tully Blanchard at this point. Like, and Dean Malenko helps, and Conan helps. And so I think that might be coming.
That would be great. And again, that's logical, and I think that's fun, but I think it would be interesting.
The Ultimate One agrees with you in the chat. He says, make Jericho fight the Inner Circle. I hope MJF is listening.
That, I mean, right? Like, that's cool. The blueprint.
I just want to know, like, for me to get past the, like, how do I know they're not faking it, right? There's got to be a storyline aspect for me, but again, it doesn't have to be. I'm not the only one watching. If other people are forgiving of it, let's fucking see it. Let's do it.
But I think if you explore the ideas of these other, Jake Hager, for example, I don't feel like has, you know, the character Jake Hager has the capacity to just lay down for anyone.
We're to expect MJF comes from money, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if there's so much on the line that it's like, you know what I mean? Life changing. Because none of these guys, Jericho is perceivably ultra rich in the world of pro wrestling, but none of these other guys are perceivably like ultra rich, right? Like, they're doing this to provide for their families and shit. They've even mentioned that. You offer them, like, it's $10 million on the line or whatever. You know what I mean? And they're like,
that's what I'm saying.
Bro.
You know, Santana and Ortiz have been telling us with this feud with FTR that they came from the other side of the tracks. They were dirt poor. You say this is the $100,000 match. Winner gets $100,000. Santana might fuck up Jericho. So it's just a fun idea. I was thinking about that, trying to think, like, how can you make this different than just logical pro wrestling? Again, I would not hate the logical pro wrestling. I just think it might be fun to do something different. But let's move on. After the commercial break, we get Tony Schiavone backstage talking to Britt Baker and kind of talking about how, like, she's the one that wants all this attention. Do you think maybe post, you know, healing up from this surgery or injury, we get a Rebel versus Britt Baker?
We might. We had a little bit of a glitch here. The program crashed, but it looks like it's up and running again. So if we glitched, you know, we may, you know, we're streaming again. It looks like. Double check that.
Good.
But I like this backstage with the Britt Baker and Reba is what we were discussing here. Yeah, I like the little shades of Reba like kind of shit talking in the back, right? Because you know what I mean. Like this was fun. Yeah, I like this, and a good thing to Britt Baker's money every time we see her. I mean, I don't think this really did a whole lot, right?
And I think the line of the night was from Britt Baker where she alluded to blood money because Vicky Guerrero got the match because Andrade came to AEW, but then alluding to like next time you want blood money, we'll just do a show in Saudi Arabia, talking about how WWE took the money to go do Saudi Arabia shows. I will say this. It's good to punch up every so often. I think this one wasn't the best punch up comment, to say fuck the WWE. However, I will say I'm glad it didn't come from the Young Bucks, right? Like it wasn't another Young Bucks does a funny thing making fun of the WWE. It came from a different superstar, and it was Britt Baker this time. So, didn't hate that too much, but again, I don't know if we need to do it too much.
Right.
All right, so then after the Britt Baker segment, we get the in-ring debut of Andrade. He's taking on Matt Sydal here. Well, just tell me your thoughts. Andrade comes out with the mask and a suit. Vicky Guerrero and some other schmuck is standing next to him. What did you think of the whole presentation and first match for Andrade?
Yeah, fine. I mean, I just, that's his thing now, right? He's going to come out super dressed to the nines every time, which is cool. That's always going to look good. The mask was interesting, right? A very interesting choice.
Looked like a gimp.
Yeah, and then I just... he wrestled in the pants, which made it look like he was, wearing some like old-timey circus pants. You know what I mean? Like he was a gypsy or something. Or maybe played for the Yankees in 1922.
That's what I was saying. I thought he was about to field some ground balls playing second base for the Yankees.
Yeah.
It happened, right? Andrade gets the victory as we thought he would. But post-match, Andrade attacks Matt Sydal again and then puts his arm in some type of ringer with a belt and all that. Thought that was interesting that Mike Sydal didn't come out, right? That's your brother. Where the hell were you? But anyhow, we'll get past that. It's made to look that Andrade is this dastardly heel. So mission accomplished. But after that, we get a video package talking about the history between Christian Cage and Matt Hardy. Looks like next week, or I believe night one of Fight for the Fallen, we're going to get Christian Cage versus Matt Hardy. Hopefully that's the first and last one. Just like Chris Jericho said, Chris Jericho doesn't want to wrestle Matt Hardy. You know why? Because what the fuck else can they do?
Right.
As much as that pop was cool during the Casino Battle Royal where Matt Hardy and Christian faced off, I think that was fun in the moment, but not necessarily a story we need to run with. So I like this keeping Christian Cage busy, but let's just get by it. That's what I said. Here we go.
Yeah, now listen, I have every faith in Christian is going to do everything he can to make this match a fucking 5-star match. Matt Hardy, I think, will have the same energy, and we've seen him pull off some great storytelling in some of the things he's done. We know he's limited in his, physical abilities these days, so it'll be interesting to see how they handle just this. We're squaring up in a match in a ring, you know what I mean? Not on a compound, not in some weird, you know what I mean? Like this is just, so it'll be interesting to see how they pull this off.
Yeah, and it's going to be fun, right? Like you said, Christian Cage is going to do what he needs to do to make sure that this is a good match. And Matt Hardy, even though he is limited, like you said, he can make, chicken salad sometimes out of chicken shit. So it'll be fine. But again, let's not play out this story too many more weeks. Anyhow, after the commercial break, we get a segment that I thought should have actually been on the show and replaced with another one that we'll talk about here in a little bit. But they showed that earlier in the night, Ricky Starks came out with the security and said he can't trust Brian Cage. He's going to embarrass Brian Cage. And Taz comes out and it's like, what in the fuck are you doing? Like, you're an idiot. Like, what in the hell? And I think Ricky Starks said something about like he's going to bang Brian Cage's wife or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, he was saying something about the wife. Yeah, that's for sure.
This feels like the beginning of the end, though, for Team Taz, doesn't it?
Or at least with Ricky Starks in Team Taz.
Which is interesting because I thought this entire time they were going to be kicking Brian Cage out because Brian Cage was going to go babyface.
Maybe they do. Maybe that's the swerve.
Yeah, maybe, but it feels like
So maybe they let Cage go on, and maybe Cage has got something going. Maybe he's gonna. Who knows, right? We never know that. Maybe he's gonna go do Japan for a while. So we never know what's going on. But maybe that's it. Maybe they think like Cage is gonna go on a face run, and it's gonna be Starks with the FTW title and Team Taz, and he's gonna be the new Rock, which has got some feels of it, right? With his look and his demeanor and everything.
He's great, and I will say, the next segment here, we're going to talk about Tony Schiavone and Arn Anderson, and we know what happens. And obviously, if you're listening to this podcast, you probably do too. But before we get there, what I want to talk about is more Ricky. Andrade's great. Miro is out of this world awesome. More Miro. We didn't get Miro on this episode. But I want more Ricky Starks. I want more Kip Sabian than I do Aleister Black, Andrade. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, if you paid attention to Twitter this past week, Brian Cage, I think breaking kayfabe here, got pissed that in Austin, Texas, where Ricky Starks and Brian Cage are going to wrestle, they didn't make the poster. They put Paul White, Mark Henry, Dustin Rhodes, all these fucking people, and not the two guys that are actually going to wrestle. And I think one of them is from that area. So this is where AEW feels like it's getting a little too bloated, and focus on your homegrown talent. And I know Brian Cage came from Impact, but you get what I'm saying. Focus on these guys. We don't need to just bring in new faces every week.
Yeah, Tom, before we continue, I wanted to shout out the chat again. They said we needed a stat boy like PTI, and I told them that you spent the budget for a stat boy on the MJF coin, which, in case anybody is just joining the live stream, I want to put this back up that Tom spent everything he has on this MJF coin.
I stole this hat.
And it's down 37% from last week and now 80% overall. But they repossessed the car and you stole it back, so that's good.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, that's why we do not have a stat boy and why we cannot fact check. We talked, we were like, maybe we should fact check.
Yeah.
Everybody keeps saying.
Well, we thought we'd get two.
We're going to do it.
We thought we'd get one for me and one for you because this MJF coin was going to take off. We had conversations, but we can't hire him.
It took off and left.
Whoop. Yeah. Goddamn. Yeah, and of course I stole the car back. Me and old Lefty Eight Fingers, we got that car. We know what to do.
Lefty Eight Fingers was in on this?
You know who I'm talking about. Yeah,
dude, if Papa Shango hears about this.
Oh, fuck him. Fuck him, Papa. Anyhow, Tony Schiavone in the ring, talking to Arn Anderson. Arn Anderson, God bless America. Probably the most underrated promo guy in the history of pro wrestling. Believability every single time he grabs that microphone. Cadence off the charts. Promo one-liners off the chart. He is so goddamn good. I fucking Arn Anderson appreciation sentence there real quick. But he says, hey, let's get to business. But before we get to business, just like in Cody's match, lights go out. But this time, lights come back on. And it's Tommy End. Now, he's going to be known as Malakai Black. Let's talk about this segment. I think this was the big, moment of the night leaving AEW Dynamite. So, Tim, I wanted to get your thoughts. What did you think of Tommy End giving black masses to both Cody and Arn Anderson?
Okay, out of all the people we've mentioned, right, the Andrades of the world, these Tommy Ends, there's a Murphy who's running around now, right? We've got everybody's showing up, right? All the people that WWE are letting go. I'm happy that these people are going to get a chance to show me what everybody's been telling me is the greatest fucking thing to happen to pro wrestling, and I just haven't been seeing it, right? I've yet to see it still. Now, Tommy End is, what we're going to call him Malakai Black now, I guess, is one that I think can do something, right? He will be able to tell unique stories. I worry about if somebody's not reining him in, that they will be long-winded as fuck. They will be early Bray Wyatt, you know what I mean?
Nursery rhymes, yeah.
Things that get out of hand. So, I'm still kind of like, and it doesn't make sense. And we're going to talk about this in Tweet the Tables. But why? Is it fucking Cody again? What's he going to say? Cody wronged me in the past? Like every fucking buddy else? I don't know why he's here beating up fucking daddy Arn Anderson and
again, enough people have heard me now. I loved a fantasy book. That's my favorite thing. I've been doing it since elementary school. Shout out John Batten. We used to write storylines during school all the damn time. I thought the same thing you did as far as, oh, we're gonna get another person who didn't like Cody, right? We had MJF, Sean Spears, Cutie Marshall, which again, Cutie we'll get you on next week.
Cutie.
Enough.
Damn it, I forgot to call. Yeah, sorry, bro.
And we forgot.
Sorry,
It'll
buddy.
happen. It happens.
Sorry.
But we've had enough friends say we used to be friends and now we're not, right? I think the interesting angle that you take with Malakai Black and his feud with Cody is it's not even about Cody. It's about Arn Anderson. I attacked Arn Anderson. Cody, you shouldn't have came out. My beef wasn't with you at all. That's why I fucking hit the black mass on Arn Anderson. I don't like that motherfucker. And you want to know why I don't like that motherfucker? And then you can go into, he was my coach, he was going to be my mentor, and he chose you over me. And fuck you and fuck him. He's going to have to pay for the sins of not choosing me. And then he takes out Cody. Then he takes out, because you know who you could take out before he takes out Cody? Get some TV time for Brock Anderson. Mm-hmm. Have Malakai Black just fuck up Brock Anderson backstage and anywhere he goes.
It just feels
That's
weird,
what
though,
we can do.
if we're going to have this like dark, mysterious guy who can fuck with the lights and he's got a fucked up eye and it's about Arn didn't train me. Like, it's going to be weird. You know what I mean? Like,
I know, but I'm just saying, like, we can make it more than just we can take a different angle, I would hope.
Yeah. I just wish we would have taken a way different angle.
Yeah.
From this, I mean, again, obviously time will tell. We're judging it way too early.
But it is a fresh coat of paint for Cody, right? So now he's done with the factory thing, it looks like. So that's good. He's going in a new direction because he was getting a little stale there for a second.
That's what it is. He's mad that he fucked with Cutie. Of course, we would do the same thing. We would have done the same thing. But the guy, the wires got crossed, and the guy went after Chris Jericho, and
it happens.
Bad communication.
Yeah, and then let's talk about this: the announcing team. Oh boy. This was bad from everyone.
Old Tony, Jim, and Mark there?
Well, Mark was interesting to hear from Jim Ross.
Sorry about that, Mark.
Yeah, good night.
Were you calling him a Mark? Or yeah, that's what he should have came out and been like, fucking Jim Ross called me a Mark. I'll show him. Right? And then just played it off. That's what he should have been like. Don't you call me a Mark?
I just wish... It doesn't make sense from a home viewer because you have the crowd chanting Tommy End and the announcer saying, no, he's Malakai Black. First off, how the fuck you know, right? Now, Excalibur tried and he said, I wrestled this guy 15 years ago. That's no Tommy End. Where he could have went is that's the alter ego of Tommy End, Malakai Black.
That's the only way you could have known that name. Now, I have no clue if he used that name on the Indies. And that's where that's why he chose Aleister Black. I have no clue, but that's for others to tell us. That's why we need that stat boy, which Big Josh said he would be our stat boy free of charge if he had the time.
We'll talk.
Send a resume.
We'll talk afterwards. With a cover letter.
Yeah, cover letter.
Yeah. So again, we have a commentary team saying that they know the name of a guy where the crowd is chanting a different name. And again, we've done this before, right? We did We the People with Jake Hager, but then the next week, but we did in AEW, I'm speaking specifically, we did the We the People, but then Chris Jericho the next week was like, that's stupid creative. We don't talk about that shit. We could have done this, and hopefully we do it next week, possibly, where Tommy End can say, you know me as Tommy End, but after this eye injury or whatever this eye represents, I am no longer that guy. I am Malakai Black. Okay, it's your weird alter ego or whatever we're saying. We can go that route. I also think we're making a little bit too much of a big deal of, oh my God, Aleister Black's eye got fucked up by Seth Rollins. He left the company and he's still going with it. It's this shapeshifter character that is the same person, but just different names. Okay. You're reaching pretty much there.
I just also don't give a shit that, like, I would prefer he didn't have the weird fucked up eye, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I hope that gets explained because all you're going to make me think of is Seth Rollins, and I don't know if AEW wants me to think of Seth Rollins.
Yeah, it's just again, like if I don't know. Can he see? Does he have like X-ray vision? Like what's going on with that thing?
But let's move on. So that was the moment of the night. Then we get the women
right before the men. But
we get the women with the men.
Ah.
It's a mixed tag match. Orange Cassidy and Chris Statlander versus the Blade and the Bunny. This was good. I like the finish. I'll say that. The match, The storyline, okay. I'm excited for Blade getting a little bit of a push here, being with Orange Cassidy. But what did you think?
Yeah, same thing. This match didn't like necessarily move the needle. I mean, good, fine storytelling, and like you said, it gets more exposure for some people who aren't getting on TV. And the Blade looks like $1 million. I mean, goddamn, that guy is fucking ripped.
And I thought he came out looking the best because he got the brass knucks and knocked out Orange Cassidy. But because Chris Statlander tagged herself in, he had to go to the outside of the ring, and Bunny gets rolled up. So Chris Statlander still gets a victory. She's still rocketing to the top, eventually going to face Britt Baker, I assume. But then we still get Blade fucked up Orange Cassidy 2 weeks in a row now. He's left him knocked out. So we get Blade still looking strong. So I like the creative finish for both of the important characters here. Again, though, why do we always have to put the women right before the men's main event? Don't get that. Let's do better. I saw on Elevation,
Serena Deeb fucking wrestle somebody. I forget what her name was, but goddamn, Serena Deeb is the shit. We need Serena Deeb on Dynamite.
Yeah, I still think, the ultimate boss for Britt Baker is to avenge that lights out match against Thunder Rosa. But if Thunder Rosa gets the NWA title again and Billy Corgan, right? Is it Corbin or Corgan? Whatever it is. NWA guy. Corgan. Smashing Pumpkins. That's who he is. But if he decides, hey, I want Thunder Rosa because she is a hot commodity to be on my NWA show.
Look at this
yes?
in the chat. Stat boy Big Josh chiming in saying there's nothing in his Wikipedia that says he was ever called Malakai Black. He went from Tommy End to Aleister Black to Malakai Black. Well, there you go.
Big Josh.
Fact checked.
Best beer sponsor in Spanish Announce Table history. We named July 1st Big Josh Day in Spanish Announce Table
By the
universe.
Way, if you want to know what Tom is talking about, head on over there to the SpanishAnnounceTable.net. Look for the PayPal link to donate. If you have any troubles, just reach out to us on the social medias, which you can find the links for as well. SpanishAnnounceTable.net will help you give us money and become the beer sponsor of the week. And we'll tell everyone how great you are, how good you smell. It'll be good. Everybody will have a good time.
So let's get back to what I was saying here for a second is if NWA says Thunder Rosa is the hot commodity, we want her as a champ, we're going to take her away from AEW for a while. Great. Then you better push Serena Deeb in that spot for the time being because she is money.
Serena Deeb just looks vicious every time I see her. Like it's believable. It looks like a fight.
That's the thing. She looks like she can fight. She can do the I'm going to throw Rio's knee into the mat 17 times, or she can do the...
Yeah, it was some girl who, I forget her name, but I guess she's supposed to be she's friendly, but then goes psycho, and then friendly and psych, right? Is what I was gathering from the little bit of speaking they were doing towards the gimmick, and she just threw it down on her. The girl came out and was trying to shake Serena Deeb's hand, because she was like, shake my hand. It's her birthday. That's what it was. Serena Deeb's birthday. And she's like, look, it's her birthday. And Serena Deeb's like, whap, slap to the face, and let's go, right? And it was just on from there, and it was great. It was awesome. But yeah. Which
speaking of dark, though, real quick, I'm trying to find the match because I forget who he took on. Ryan.
Oh, he took on Murder Hawk.
Yeah, Murder Hawk, and that was a fun match.
We've had him on the show before in the old NWL days as Maverick. But, man, that was a great match, too. Murder Hawk versus the Moonshine Mantel. They call him Ryan Mantel there, I think.
Yeah, but it's Moonshine. So that's why I was looking up. I didn't know if they went by Moonshine, but he does on the indies. But they went with Ryan on AEW.
Swell fucking guy, too, also. Like, one of the coolest guys to us. You know what I mean? Yeah. Friendliest dudes. Absolutely. But you're right. Like, why the women in the next to the main event? And this time it was even half the women, It was interesting, yeah.
So, anyhow, let's get into the main event, and I will credit AEW. I told you this when we were talking back and forth last night. They did a lot of living in these hour and 30 minutes to get all of this talent in before we even saw Eddie Kingston. That's the fucking man, right? Like, I love Hangman. it's a different kind of over, right?
Yeah.
Eddie's over, so is Hangman, but it's in different.
Well, it's like Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels, right? There's
right,
two
exactly.
Two
different types of guys, but you love them both.
These are two different aspects of my multiple personalities that I love, right? Like these are the guys that you're right.
But what I was going to say, though, is credit to AEW for getting a lot of living in before we even got to the main
100%.
attraction, in my opinion.
This
Eddie
show,
Kingston.
very few missteps and just hitting, like it was Homer. Okay, Miss Homer. Like they did good this show. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the only criticisms that I have are nitpicky. It's just being like, but if I was in charge, it's a fucking awesome show.
Weird.
Yeah, but I think that you should have. Yeah. Anyhow, we had a street fight for the AEW World Tag Team titles. The Young Bucks, the champions, taking on Eddie Kingston and Penta, who had a win over them the prior week. So this was a street fight, and boy, did we street fight. This was fun. I liked it.
I love when the Young Bucks are heels because this really lets you want to hate them, right? Like,
and I do.
Really
I fucking
like
do.
You really want to see them get punched around. You really want to see them get, you know what I mean? The Kansas City cunt punt.
And they play into it with those stupid jean shorts that they
Tennessee
had.
testicle tickler, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
Twister. Sorry, it's not the tickler. Tickler's a different thing. It's
the Papa Shango move.
A little more pricey to get the tickler, but the twister, man. Yeah. Ugh, rough.
So this street fight, though, it was knockdown, drag out war. I will say credit to them for still getting in their fun shit, right? We got a Canadian destroyer off the ring apron through a table with Pentagon and Penta and I think it was Matt Jackson. But the finish. So anyhow, before I get to the finish, though, real quick, we had Eddie Kingston get the rear naked choke on Matt Jackson. Nick, though, takes out the referee, which, okay, it's legal, right? Legal. But I still thought that was, again, but they're heels, so that is cheap, so fine.
Yeah. Did they powerbomb Nakamura while he was still spraying the
Cutler.
thing? Yeah, Cutler, that's right. Yeah, it's not Nakamura. Right, yeah, it's Cutler. Right, yeah.
Well, Nakamura is WWE.
Right, yeah. Same role.
Nakazawa.
Right, right, yeah. Nakazawa. Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's it. Right, yeah.
Fact checking here. Josh
Cutler's got the things with was it a powerbomb or something, right? Like, and he was still spraying that shit. They still got in a bunch of the gimmicks, but it didn't feel like a lot of them were ill-timed or just taking too much time, if you will. I thought this was done really well.
And there was enough times to say, well, that's when Eddie Kingston and Penta should have been the tag champions with not actually giving them the belts, right?
Right.
So the Good Brothers came out again. Here's the easiest thing, because I keep yelling about this. Why isn't there a tag team mad that Impact wrestlers are taking their TV time? Right?
Well.
That should be enough. But now, why isn't the Dark Order coming out to fuck up the Good Brothers? They fucked you up earlier in the night.
True.
Why aren't you coming back out to beat their ass? There's an easier one. Now, who helped Eddie and Penta in this match, though, was the Elite Hunter, Frankie Kazarian, and I want to point out something here. It's a cool concept, right? You agree, right? Cool concept on paper.
Yes.
However, I don't know, Tim, if you've been keeping track. I have, just because I have a weird drunk baby brain. Every time Frankie Kazarian's helped, the fucking baby faces lose.
Yeah. It's weird. Like, it's a great concept if there's nobody else that can stop this super group. You know, the super elite, they've got all the power, and the elite hunter is what starts slowly picking them off. But that's not what's happening. He's coming into other people's shine and just
not
wasting
helping
time. Yeah, not helping. Like, he may take one guy away, but it doesn't change the outcome.
Yeah, it's Cutler or, Don Callis or what, he runs off Don Callis.
Maybe Machine Gun. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and it's just like...
Maybe the Buff Bagwell of the Bullet Club.
Right, exactly. Yeah, the Horace Hogan of the Bullet Club, Karl Anderson. Just, I just don't get it where you got to have some wins. You got to have some traction to say you're the elite hunter, because right now you're not really doing shit and you're kind of not even helping. So go away. Maybe. I don't know. Just some food for thought.
Yeah, you're like the elite
finish,
weekend
though.
hunter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he might as well just wear golf pants and fucking.
Ooh, Big Josh says maybe Kazarian is an elite spy.
I mean, possibly, but right now he just looks like an elite loser.
That could help if they find a way. If they find a way to do the swerve, Hangman loses because Kazarian gave him the the undercut, and then Kenny Omega goes on and still keeps as the champ, and now Hangman's coming after Kazarian, who's a heel. Like, maybe.
Possibly.
But, that's the only way I think that would work.
But let's talk about the finish. I thought the finish was really creative and a little dangerous. So, you get the thumbtacks introduced by Eddie Kingston, right?
Right.
But the finish is
who just
Nick
carries
Jackson.
those around, by the way. I think he just has like a sack of tacks.
He seems like
in his pocket at all times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has a sack of thumbtacks and someone else's credit card just walking around the streets of New York.
Credit card and a sack of tacks, man.
Yeah.
Ready to go, baby.
That could be the show title.
What kind of shoes you wearing?
But I thought it was crazy because Nick Jackson throws thumbtacks in the face of Penta, which, fun fact, now we're back in front of fans. There's people behind him. You could be throwing thumbtacks at him.
Hey, man.
You chose this show to do the thumbtack spot?
You saw Eddie Kingston on the ticket. You fucking should have brought some goddamn protective eyewear. I'm telling you that much.
I know, but I just thought, like, of all the shows that didn't have fans, you could have done this thumbtack spot, and you chose
You could have
the
bazooka
first
gun
show.
blasted thumbtacks.
Yeah, but you chose the first show that has fans to say, you know what we're going to do? Throw
The
thumbtacks
fans are trying
at
to fight us, goddammit. We're going to fucking take it to you, too, man.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
This is for that MJF moment,
Your
you
fucking friend,
cocksuckers.
motherfucker.
But then you also had, I don't know if you caught this because, again, the camera work wasn't great, and it wasn't great all night. I'm going to be honest. That was a nitpicky thing of mine.
Whoever's
Still not
directing
great.
back there is...
Nah, you're getting better, but you're not great. They put thumbtacks in the mouth of Eddie Kingston and then hit him with the V-trigger. Kudos to the Young Bucks. And again, I hate them.
Yeah, they didn't hit that spot well enough from a cinematography perspective. I agree with you, but yeah, the idea of like, yeah, it's like as close to an actual curb stop as we can get in wrestling.
Yeah, so that was it. The Young Bucks then get the victory. They retain the AEW Tag Team Championships. Tim, that was AEW Dynamite Road Rager. What did you think of this special event?
I'm happy to see him back on the road. I'm happy to see the crowd just in it and loving it, and I'm happy for the fucking Hangman!
Oh, one thing I didn't mention, but it's not that big of a deal. Dan Lambert from American Top Team came out, cut a Jim Cornette.
Okay.
That was a Jim Cornette promo.
Big miss, man. Goddamn big miss. Yeah, Jim Cornette probably had Jim Cornette write that promo for him. But we were talking, and I was a little bit behind you, and you brought this up, but I started hitting on that, like, they never said who the fuck that is. And they briefly mentioned Jorge
Masvidal. Jorge Masvidal and Amanda Nunes.
And so, like, I know those names because of you, right? Because of my proximity to an MMA fan and the MMA world. I literally might not, maybe from catching commercials, have heard of those names ever. And they never really did a good job of that. And now just here's this guy who I'm like, is this guy an executive or something? Like, what the fuck's this guy? Able to just, like, he looks like he's about ready to announce a Senate run and a state Senate run in Georgia. And like, what the fuck is this guy doing here? So
this was, again, I forgot because I messed up the rundown here, so I apologize. But this is, again, it was a good segment for the Miami crowd. This is where I would have had this kick off the show. You get the highlight of Murder Hawk then comes out and takes out Dan Lambert. And then in the actual show, we get Ricky Starks to cut that promo. Taz comes out and Brian Cage runs him off. Like, that is a story that all AEW fans know. To your point, if you don't watch MMA, you don't know who the fuck Dan Lambert is. Now, if you're a really hardcore pro wrestling fan, you've seen him in Impact Wrestling, you've seen him in MLW. But again, if you're just an AEW fan, who the fuck is this guy?
I didn't know who the fuck he was.
Right. I will say, though, the promo was good. A little long-winded, but it was fun. I think it was a shot at I think it was a shot at Jim Cornette. I think that was hey, fuck you, we're taking Jim Cornette out in this segment. But I agree with you. I would have switched this out, put this in before we went live, have Dan Lambert get the crowd all riled up because he's talking about Miami, he's talking about championship wrestling of Florida, all the stuff, running down AEW, and then Murder Hawk gives you the pop, and then you go into the show.
This guy probably invested some, and you know what I mean? Like, so they're like, yeah, sure, here you go. Or he paid for advertising or some bullshit.
Well, in Miami, American Top Team is a big deal. To like, for Kansas City listeners here, James Krause, right? Glory MMA is, and that's the equivalent in Miami is American Top Team is that there. So again, but that's a Miami pop, right?
Right.
That needs to be for the crowd. You need to have your real stories. And again, Brian Cage has a point here. He's not on the poster, and now he's not even getting real TV time. He's getting recapped, and we're putting that at the start. So that is the only thing I would change up about this episode. But again, fantastic episode overall.
Yeah, I agree. Well, let's move on. Let's hit the other main aspect. You know what I mean? We talked about GCW earlier, but I didn't catch much else of like the ROH Impacts, MLWs, but we did catch some WWE stuff. We had an NXT Great American Bash. Let's run through some of the highlights of this quick. We had MSK retaining the championships over Champion Thatcher. Fine.
Look, Thatcher and Ciampa are fucking awesome. I don't think they work as a tag team. They're too much of the same note. I think they're better rivals than friends.
I think it worked for the time being. I don't think it's going to go anywhere now. That it ought to just
maybe that. Yeah, I think they're better rivals than they are friends because they're just we talk about like, hey, pro wrestlers have friends. Why the fuck is everyone mad about factions? And that makes sense. However, these two guys seem like they would not have friends. Like, I don't think they should have friends.
Well, that's kind of why it works. Like, they're the only two that were like, fine, fuck it. Like, I can stand you just enough. Like, you don't annoy me just enough. Right.
But I want to see them split off. I want to see them go singles and have some fun that way.
They had a spot where they made Cross and Gargano official for next week, and talk is maybe Gargano finds a way to scheme this and Cross goes bye-bye.
Yeah, let's talk about this for a second. This, for as great of a babyface as Johnny Gargano is, and he is, I think he's awesome. I think him and Sami Zayn and NXT are two of the best babyfaces of all time, as far as just pure babyfaces that I like and want to get behind, right? Especially in the 2020s when it's hard to do that because everyone has to have a cool edge, right? But the way, and Johnny Gargano leading the way, I think is his best work. I want him as champion because I think that works better as King of the Hill. We're pushing everyone down. And Karrion Kross, man, I think I've said this before and I'll say it again. All sizzle, no steak. I think he has a cool entrance. And once the bell rings, I want to change the channel. I don't give a shit.
The promo is it's all of this.
It's
whole
80s.
Time.
Yeah.
All of this.
Well, yeah, he's doing an 80s promo, but he's built like a 2020 wrestler. You know what I mean?
Yes.
The thing, like, the reason why, the Hulk Hogan's of the world could cut those promos is he was 6'5", 300 pounds. Karrion Kross is 5'9", 200. Like, fuck out of here. Yeah, like, get out of here.
I'm scary.
Wrestling. So good. Have him go to the main roster is the rumor that Karrion Kross is going. We've seen him on main event. Again, not breaking kayfabe here. So we've seen him on main event. We've seen him on main roster shows, as they say. So good.
Hey,
go.
Look, if the idea is more characters, like characters on the main roster, fine, great, because they want to be like we talked about Marvel or something. Fine, just do something with these characters. Then, like, start telling the fucking stories already.
Well, if you paid attention to main event, he's walking out without Scarlett, and I think, again, for as much as I don't think he has anything to him, he's pretty bland as a character. He needs Scarlett because that's the only thing that actually keeps him a little captivating during the entrance.
Yeah, it's the extra intrigue of this weird lady,
crazy lady,
fucking knife you over in the
lip syncing crazy lady.
Hey, we're gonna have $1 million butler. Cameron Grimes lost his attempt at the $1 Million Championship again, and this will be a good way to continue this feud with some comedy going forward. But I couldn't see how else they would have continued this. So if they weren't going to disband this is great. This will be a good thing.
I'm just curious to know who wants the $1 Million Championship. It feels a lot like the FTW Championship on Dynamite, where it's like, okay, this is a cool belt. Who wants it? Because in AEW, up until Ricky Stark said now he wants it, no one's gave a shit about that championship. And I know it's early, but like no one's clamoring in my eyes to be the $1 Million champion other than Cameron Grimes.
The thing is, will this start to outshine? Like, because your idea is you have a mid-card title, a main title, and then if you need a third title because those things are stacked, you throw in another one. But this has a potential between guys like this to steal spotlight from your North American championship. You know what I mean? Which is supposed to be your your mid-card title.
Yeah,
so,
the next guy up.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they can do like, hey, whoever's our $1 million champion is our character, like, right, the mid-card character, and then whoever's the North American champion, that's the technician, right? That's the Dean Malenko's of the world. Like, that could be who that champion is.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Then we got new women's tag team champs, which is weird. We got Shirai and Stark beating the way. I don't know. This was a good call, but
nah. Hey, by the way, Ultimate One here says Karrion Kross was a little bit more animated in Lucha Underground. Now, I will say this. Lucha Underground was amazing at pushing up the positives, but like pushing up the positives and hiding the negatives. WWE kind of puts you out there.
This is what I'm saying. If WWE wants to go more character-driven, then you need to start telling stories like Lucha Underground did. I need more backstage segments. I need more segues. I need more drama. I need more of the music in the backstage scene. You know what I mean? Like, make it like a show then. If that's what you're trying to do, then do it.
Yeah.
Great. Because what you're doing now sucks. But all right. All right. Tom, this might have been one of the moments of the week from the WWE side. The Hit Row Championship Cypher. God damn. This is fucking... I want another concert from these motherfuckers. This was great.
This was fantastic. The only thing I could think of, though, while I was watching this is how out of touch Triple H and Shawn Michaels probably felt while they were watching the segment backstage. They had no idea why this was cool. They were like, what in the fuck are these people doing walking around? I'm bad with names, right? I know there's Swerve, right?
Scott,
Isaiah Swerve Scott. Top Dollar. Who's the girl? I haven't caught her name. She is money.
Ashanti the Adonis?
No, that's the guy, I think.
Oh, as the DJ. Yeah, that's Ashanti. Yeah. B-Fab?
B-Fab?
Yep.
Whatever her name is.
Fab.
She is captivating. I mean, I feel like that Cypher, at least the beginning. Then they started getting into more of
the overtone of the Hit Row the whole time. Yeah, it's like it sounds like a goddamn church bell going off over and over again. Yeah, it's great.
And she could rap. She started it off, right? Mm-hmm. The Cypher, now again, they kind of went into a performance once they got into the ring, which is fine. Totally cool. Not a part. But when they just did the Cypher, you could have just bottled that up, right? Cut it at the start and the end of just that segment. You could have put that in the BET Awards when they do the Cyphers throughout the show. Great. And it'd be the same thing. Now, again, lyrically, you could say,
Let's get this thing a goddamn Emmy.
You're right. But like, you know what I'm saying? Black Thought from The Roots is probably lyrically saying better things than what Hit Row is. But still, it's the same. Like, that vibe was great. I loved it. It was the segment of the night.
It was great. Yeah. It is. Again, it's capturing an aspect of pop culture and just humanity that is not caught in pro wrestling hardly anywhere that I've seen before.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Ever. Yeah.
Ever. Yeah.
Yeah. This was fantastic.
Yeah.
I would
John
like for them
Cena was the closest thing to this, and that's
Now you got Max Caster over there in AEW. He's doing his thing, and he's doing some raps for TMZ.
And this is wildly different, though. Like this
This was more authentic, right? Max Caster does the great freestyles, and those are awesome, but that does feel like a wrestling rapper.
Right.
This felt like rappers who happen to wrestle. I would like for them to do this next time and maybe address a faction, the way, right? If they adjust the way, for example, that would be cool.
Get a cause now at this point. Now they're talking about they got to win championships and that.
But still, they got the North American champion. But I want to see a little bit more direction.
Their goal is, I think what their stated goal coming out of that is, hey, we're all going to be draped in gold, which is what every faction says. So Yeah. All right. So after that, Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole, Bay, and Cole winning. So,
man,
this is falling more flat than I thought it would.
Yeah, I think one thing that really hurts them, and I don't like to pay attention to the dirt sheets, but again, it comes across my Twitter because I like so much pro wrestling stuff. Is I heard that the CFO $ whatever, they broke off ties, so they don't want to get them paid by still using their music. But these generic, and Adam Cole still trying to do the boom when the fucking beat's off and guitar doesn't make sense. And then Kyle O'Reilly looking like just an 8th grade nerd who doesn't know what puberty looks like yet. It just, what in the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Just
yeah, CFO $, whatever the fuck that group. What do you call them? They had some bangers, but this shit is.
And Adam Cole needs that, right? Especially now that we're getting fans back, we need the boom and all the shit. Like
Stat Boy back in the chats here. Our chat boy, chat stats coming at you. Hashtag chat stats. Big Josh says BFAB is an actual musical artist named Brianna Brandy, so go check her out.
Oh, I will. She was great, and she's captivating and just charisma.
Tell me what other show you're going to get some hashtag chat stats.
I love it. Thank you so much, Josh. I will check her out.
All right, so let's go over to SmackDown. Edge started it.
Why?
Why? Edge started it and kind of said the same stuff Edge would say, I guess. Like, fuck you, it's mine.
Here's the thing.
Here's the thing.
If we were planning on after WrestleMania, Roman Reigns is going to do his thing, but then we're going to circle back to Edge going after the championship, then why the fuck did Roman have to pin both of them? I can get behind Roman pinned Daniel Bryan. Edge actually didn't lose. He wants his revenge.
But Edge actually did lose, right?
You're a fucking loser. You have to go. You sound like, I'm going to make an MMA reference here, but you sound like Colby Covington, who got knocked out by the champion and then says, like, I got next. It's like, no, you don't. You lost. You got to go fight to get back to the number one contendership. Edge, I get it. You're a Hall of Famer. You're great, blah, blah, blah. But, like, your last match, you fucking lost, pal, to this guy. Go beat someone.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Dumb.
And then we're also getting, as a theme, kind of goes throughout the show, is Sad Corbin. He's down on his luck. He's losing money. He's losing his cars.
Selling his watch.
He's a walking country song. So
I just, okay. Right.
That's the MVP gimmick, maybe, right?
And it's fine.
Right?
It's fine because it's something different for Corbin than just being, I'm an asshole. However, I don't just because he lost his crown? Why is he poor all of a sudden?
Because he lost his. Well, I think he said somebody stole his. He made some bad investments, and
it just happened to be.
He bought in on the MJF coin, is what happened. Look at that graphic
again. Pal, hit me up. Right, I got some ways to get out of there.
If he bought in like you bought in, and he had a lot more, and if he's down 80% overall like this, man, I got
nothing.
I can't imagine what Papa Shango did to that guy.
Oh man. Ugh. You don't think you can fuck him?
I think All right. God, hey, look, Bianca Belair, we have got to fucking pull the plug on this thing. I get when they're like, hey, we're going to try to put somebody up and see if they take. But if they can't even not fucking read the cue cards in their mind, they can't be on your fucking top program on primetime Fox and shit.
Tim,
dude, you have to do is hand me. I don't fucking know shit. Many people in your company can hit the fucking bullet points in your promo, god damn it, without sounding like I have to remember every word without any actual emotion in it, that I just remember the lines. So then I'm going to do that.
But Tim, tell me honestly, besides, it seems a little bit more comfortable for one of these women than the other. How is she different than Sasha Banks? That's the same promo as Sasha Banks.
I know.
And Sasha Banks is on the fucking posters, and when they talk about SmackDown on Fox, she's featured. So
every
WWE
Sasha
thinks
Banks promo is that bad. Every Sasha Banks promo is that bad, and is one of the reasons I deny anybody who wants to tell me she's the best at this.
She's the worst.
She's the fucking worst.
Her matches are very good. She sells better than any women.
Sure.
But of the four horsewomen, she's fourth.
But you could say that about Dean Malenko, right? Matches were great.
Lance Storm, not into it. But going back to Bianca Belair, they think this is fucking working because they thought Sasha Banks was working, and it's the same promo.
I just don't get.
It's dog shit.
I don't get how
Bayley the championship.
How anybody hears that? I'm asking you, the fans, goddammit, to chime in. Hit me up with hashtag #TweetTheTable because I need a solid answer on this. How do you listen to this promo and not go like, fucking Christ? I don't believe you're coming out here and saying something off the top of your head. It sounds monotonously rehearsed to every extent that you just don't
It's bad.
It's bad. It's so bad. It's almost like you're reading off a cue card, which means that means like to me you're just got like some, you know what I mean? Like you're just literally reading it off the back of your mind. How does that not just make everybody tune out and be like, this is bad? Like, how do everybody go like, yeah? How are they still, even kids, even a fucking kid should be able to detect that this is bad. I don't get it.
Well, we got fans coming, so maybe we will.
But they didn't with Sasha. Well, they never fucking did with Sasha. They still fucking pop and shit. And I'm like, what? How does it not? How? You have to hear it. I know you guys hear it. I know you hear it.
It's bad. Yeah, it sounds worse than cue cards. It sounds like they're reading off of cue cards, and the person holding the cue cards dropped the cue cards and is picking it up one by one and saying, "Read this one," and now read this one. Like it's bad.
It's bad. We got a last man standing with Owens and Zayn, and word is they're going to be doing a lot more of these like gimmick matches now because the ratings suck and the networks are like, fucking do something, and they don't know how to fucking do anything. So we're going to get a lot more of these like last man standings and cage matches and fucking Hell in a Cells and fucking probably every week, every show. So
that's what you need to do.
Yeah, because now
dilute your fun stuff.
Is going to do it right.
Yeah.
So here we go with one of these, and again, these two guys put on a match of the week contender, right? With it,
of course. Yeah. Again, but if you don't have any story behind it, you're just doing ballet.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the thing is you're going to run something back next week with them guys and do something else, and then it's just going to be like. But again, I don't get, fans, how you're not looking like, how this isn't like, you know what I mean? Like how people still cheer for this shit. All right.
Yeah, he's great. Again, enjoy it while it lasts, because I don't think it's going to last too much longer because they're going back on the road, and his number one priority is the Pat McAfee show, not WWE. Also,
yeah.
I was going to say, Ultimate One says maybe they should stop giving her a script, Bianca Belair, because Belair was decent on the mic in NXT. I'm going to be honest with you. She might have been, but she still wasn't memorable. I don't remember how Bianca. The only thing I remember about Bianca Belair in NXT, as far as promos, is when Charlotte Flair was trying to challenge for the championship, and Bianca's like, "You don't even go here," and then did the,
on the real. I think it should be I think it should always be the bullet points with an idea of an outline of a script that they're supposed to hit. Now, some people just can't or just don't like doing that. Obviously, full script it for them, but like. This is bad, and the Sasha Banks version of the promos are bad. And I think when we watch that Sasha Banks Stone Cold thing, maybe that's just because I don't think she's the type that's going to sit there and think up. I think she's like, oh, you tell me what to do, and I'll go hit it.
But she's good with matches.
Right,
I think
100%.
I think her passion is, you just give me a character, ring the bell. Just please ring the bell. And it's like, well, they require a little bit more here than just ringing the bell. And she's like, fuck, really? Okay. Hey, this is not. And it's like, fuck.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because she seems like she's mostly like. It seemed like she's very mild mannered from what I got. That she's very like even emotioned, kind of like she'd just be like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" You know what I mean? Like if she was sitting here, and that doesn't play out well. So yeah, I think she's going back to the only character I think she can.
Hey, maybe they can play up her anti-vax stance.
Well, and then we got here we got one that shocked me: a returning Zelina Vega. Just kind of fucking flabbergasted me. Who lost
in 2 minutes?
Yeah,
to Liv Morgan,
who also was bad at the promo. You know what I mean? Like,
right. But here's hey, chat stats, hashtag chat stats. If I'm wrong here, but if memory serves me correct on this segment. We had Sonya Deville say, guess who's going to be next in the women's Money in the Bank ladder match? Zelina Vega. And Zelina Vega comes out, and then Liv Morgan comes out and was like, no, this bitch does not deserve to be in the match. I do. Let me prove it. Beats her in 2 minutes. And then Liv Morgan's still not added to this match. So the girl who won isn't in the match to get the championship opportunity, but the girl who just showed up and lost in 2 minutes is still in that match. Like, if you're going to do stipulations, which you were talking about earlier, because ratings are down, put the spot on the Money in the Bank on the line in this match. And if Liv Morgan wins, then she's in, or have Zelina Vega win. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah. It's really not a fan. And Angelo Dawkins versus Otis. Ha, man, this Otis thing is really
He's so interesting and fun on social media. I follow him on Instagram. He's always doing Traeger grill ribs and fun stuff, and him and Chad Gable are lifting weights and seem like
but they took away everything we loved about the guy. And it wasn't like a sudden thing where it was like, hey, you love this guy? We're going to turn him heel because we want you to get the heat of what you used to like. It was chipping away at everything to where now you just devalue him even as a heel. Like, I don't fucking care. He wasn't doing anything good as a babyface. So fuck him anyhow. Like, yeah, you slowly took piece by piece. You took his girl away.
You took the money in the bank away.
You took his beard away. You took his
tag team partner away. Like,
then you took
and then
away.
You turn him heel.
Oh.
Yeah, but then you turn him heel, and you're like, don't you hate it? And it's like,
yeah, I already did.
Anymore.
Yeah,
I already did.
Yeah,
that's stupid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then Edge beat down Jimmy Uso, which might not see that guy for a while, huh?
Yeah, we'll break kayfabe here because again, we don't love to go into the dirt sheets because half the fucking things you read are speculation, and then they turned out, oh, things changed. Okay, pal, yeah, things always change when you're wrong. That's interesting how that happens every time, but when you're right, oh, I'm the fucking man. Anyhow, but Jimmy Uso, it was reported by TMZ, Jimmy Uso got a DUI.
Again,
I don't want to make fun of him because it seems like he has an addiction problem. This wasn't a one-time thing where he got high on himself because he's in the main event of SmackDown and then DUI, right? But
several years running, he's had these issues.
And here's the thing. I think we talked about this the last time he got one because we were doing the show because, again, we're coming up on 8 years.
2019, but he got off somehow. Yep.
But, like, you guys make money. Factor in the Uber into your drinking. If you're like, hey, I'm going to get hammered tonight. Okay, cool. But $30 or however much it is going to the Uber tonight. Like, how is that not factored in before you even walk out of the door?
Yeah.
Or WWE, like just saying, hey, you're going out. Oh, one second. Call someone up. We got someone just literally hit 2 on your phone and someone's going to be there.
How about this? Hey, we need to renegotiate your contract because we're putting money aside for an Uber every time you fucking get out of the arena, or whatever, right? Like, it just, I don't know. Shout out to the chat there. The Ultimate Otis looks like a thumb without a beard.
He does. Yep.
Yeah, he does indeed. Oh, man, I think we're losing here again. But, Tom, tell me more how you hate Otis while I get this working.
Yeah, so Otis, it's just, all the fun things that you had about him. You could make him because of how he looks. And if you remember when it was Heavy Machinery, you had stakes or Body by Stakes or whatever.
Stakes and Weights. Yeah.
Stakes and Weights.
Yep.
Go into he's the dad. I don't even know if he has kids. Let's just say he does. His character does, right? We can all act here. Let's just say he has kids and you just make him everyone's favorite dad. So put on New Balances. He wrestles in New Balances now. He wrestles in jeans and like a mowing shirt that has like some grass stains on it. You give him back the beard. You have him talk about his Traeger grill and just make him the dad of WWE. He's a fat guy. Everyone loves a fat guy. He can be the resident chef for WWE if they need a cookout. He's the guy that's doing the burgers and stuff. And that would be fun because the mean guy, the thumb, as Ultimate One said, the thumb just goes, because even more so, Chad Gable's not really doing anything either. He's not pushing him to be, he is pushing him to be different, but like, did Chad Gable make him shave the beard? Did we even understand why he did that? Like, if Chad Gable is making him do that, then we at least hate Chad Gable for turning our lovable fat ass into a thumb, right? But like, we're not even getting that explanation. It just, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't like it. A lot of things I don't like also are on the Raw side of things. Look like they're doing Morrison Ricochet again. Because again, great match, but I don't.
It's a fun match all the time, but there's no story, so I don't care.
They're trying to tell this Nikki Cross story, and it's fucking falling. And this dewdrop thing at the simultaneous, that whole fucking Eva Marie thing is annoying. Like, I don't.
Well, and it already seems like Dewdrop or whatever and Eva Marie are done. Like, they're already having infighting.
What I do am intrigued by is this Mustafa Ali Mansoor stuff, right? Like, I like this. I think Mustafa Ali's money. I think we got some use out of him.
Love him.
And so I like where this is going, where he's kind of like, no, man, you don't get it, right? Like, I'm trying to fucking learn you up here. You know what I mean?
Well, what do you think of this, like, international warfare where it's Jinder Mahal representing all of India taking on the Scottish warrior Drew McIntyre in a fucking sword?
I swear to God, if Heath Slater does not come back fucking jacked to the fucking extremes and fucking redo 3MB as like this monster fucking trio, I God damn it, Tom. I want SmackDown World Title, NXT title. I want them all. I want 3MB all jacked like fucking roided out.
Well, you could do this thing where it's
3 mega bitches, right? Like just fucking.
But like you could have beasts, 3 mega beasts,
3 mega beasts. Yeah,
yeah. But you could have this thing where it's Jinder Mahal, and Drew McIntyre going after it, and the only person that can solve this differences is a sit down, and who's the moderator? Returning Heath Slater. That would be cool. That would be fun. And then they say like, yeah, no, we should take over this place. You get the beasts come out, they take over the world. That would be fun.
You know, we had more stuff like leading into Money in the Bank. So we had Riddles and AJ Styles because he fucking pushed Riddle off earlier and made him hurt his ankle and that kind of shit. Again, they're just the childish insults and things they do in WWE to make like expect us to be like, oh my God, he pushed him off the ladder and hurt his leg. When the whole point of them being there is to beat each other up. Like that's the whole reason we watch wrestling is we know these guys are gonna beat each other up. So like he shoved him down off the ladder and hurt his ankle. Like I don't suddenly feel like so bad for Riddle that I'm like, you gotta beat up AJ Styles. Like I don't give a shit. Like I'd have fucking done the same thing. So
your point last week has stayed with me while I've watched WWE is that this is all just basic storytelling with no substance or real depth. It's all nothing. Just like, oh, you pushed them, now you hate them, don't you? Yeah.
Like she said mean things. Like,
oh no. We problem solve by just being mad. Where's the backstabbing?
Where's the twists and turns? Where's the relationships? Where's the hinting at anything? Like nothing.
It's an ABC. It's like an ABC after school special. That's how their storytelling is.
And then Elias and Cedric Alexander lost to Jackson Riker and R-Truth. And I don't know if you saw, Big Swole was married to Cedric Alexander, and she called him Lil Hogan.
Jackson Riker.
Yeah,
she called Jackson Riker
right,
Lil Hogan.
Yeah.
Good.
I don't know what they're doing with this fucking guy. Like they really think this guy's gonna be something, I guess, and I don't see it.
Hey, there is something with him because there is 70 million people that voted for that stereotype to be the man. So yeah, there's something. It's not for us, but there's something.
I'm going to go to the chat stats here with our stat boy, Big Josh. And he says, fun fact, Otis is, in fact, not in a serious relationship. And I don't know what you did to get that chat stat, Big Josh, but, man, truckers have their ways. You know what I'm saying? Truckers know this country.
Hey, you know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? And New Day, her business continues. Are we still getting this Kofi turn?
I don't know anymore. I think maybe they flirted with it, and they're like, no. We just need to go back to bread and butter. I
wonder if they tried, and Kofi and they're like, we're not breaking up the New Day. We're not going to do that. And like, you suck if that's the case.
God, it's fucking theater, you nerds. It's not real.
Rejoin.
You're not really going to.
You know what I mean? Join back up.
We're not going to be like everyone else and break up. Fucking why?
Big Josh says, hey, TNA thought they had something big with Riker when he was Gunner. Now, listen, I get every time I see him, I'm like, I see why people are like, this guy could be something. He's got a look that, like you said, a lot of guys aspire to look like fucking Jackson Riker and Gunner. There's a whole lot of fucking veterans and dudes who would have been veterans, you know what I mean, et cetera. Like a lot of fucking quote unquote want to be alpha dudes who want to be bearded up and tatted up and racist. So, not that Jackson Riker's racist, of course. You know what I mean? I don't know that for sure. You know,
but yeah, the same
I can't
guys
fact check that like our stat chat boy. Or,
but like the same guys that wear those tactical sunglasses to Walmart are the fucking guys that love Jackson Riker.
Yeah, but don't tread on me. Front license plate, right? With a
camo pants.
With a. Like if you voted for Biden, you can't celebrate Labor Day.
Not my president. Yeah, wears a "Not my president" shirt to a wedding.
Gotta like these colors don't run.
Yeah,
yeah. All right, yeah. Fuck that guy. All right, listen. Let's get to Tweet the Tables. This is the funnest part of the show. We are the best and most interactive wrestling podcast, talk show, YouTube, whatever the fuck you want to call us. We're it. we're the shit. That's because we listen to you guys. We want to know what you have to say, and you do that by heading out to SpanishAnnounceTable.net. Click the Twitter there if you don't know what it is, or just go directly there, Table Show, and follow us, and then use hashtag #TweetTheTable while you're tweeting. Just whatever wrestling thought you got, right? We're going to read them, right? Right?
You're ready.
Right? All right, Big Josh at the Rebel Trucker says, hashtag #TweetTheTable. Riddle has to be the best thing going on WWE right now. Dude is such a dumbass, and it's awesome. Is he the best thing going in WWE? Is Riddle?
Consistently, without a storyline, right? I like the RKO, like with the Randy Orton, and he's like, Randy, this one's for you. Like, he is a dumbass, right? But what I like about him is he's a dumbass that just, because when the bell rings, he's not a dumbass anymore. He's believable. He's physical. And that's what I like. It's not just Eugene, you know what I mean? Where then the bell rings and Eugene's still kind of doing silly moves. And then he does a rock bottom. Isn't that fun? Like when Riddle's wrestling and the bell rings, it's like, oh shit, I think he could fuck up a lot of people because he really can. And because his style says he could. So I like the blend of physicality and doofus. You know what I mean? So
yeah. I agree with that too.
It is the best thing on Raw, I will say.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. At the Ultimate One, also joining us in the chat, says that Ethan Page Darby Allin interview was okay, but it came off like an unorganized Zoom call. Hashtag #TweetTheTable.
But good. Like, this is where we criticize WWE for having such structure in it. I am talking and I am not liking you. And then now you talk, Tim, and Tim says he doesn't like Tom. And then that's the match. Like, it would make sense if you didn't like someone and you had to sit next to him like, fuck you, asshole. And then someone cuts him off and then, you know, you go back and forth. So, yeah, I liked, again, not do it every week, but I liked it in this case. Yeah,
I mean, I thought it was good. I get what you're saying there where, you know, I mean, it may have seemed somewhat unorganized, but that did seem somewhat valid, right? These guys are just fucking like ready to throw hands, and JR's like, please don't do it while I'm sitting here. Like, can we just wait until the match, fellas? We're live, pal. At Devil Vamp says, I know they're trying to not do the we are stealing WWE underused talent, but why does all the ex-WWE related talent have to be pissed off? Hashtag #TweetTheTable. And he's got a point there, and he chimed in later even and was like, you think he meant heels. You know what I mean? But
that's not true. Their first affection was Jon Moxley, and Jon Moxley was just like,
so and I'm here to. Yeah, now that was a face move. I think what he's getting at is like the heels. All the heels come over and they're angry. But I mean, that's what a heel is, right? I mean,
right. But then Matt Hardy came over. He was a baby face. He was just doing delete. True. Miro, I know, ended up being what he is now, but he just came in as the best man. Hey, Kip Sabian's getting married. He's the best man. I'm going to plan a wedding. Like. Now, again, we knew what that was going to turn into, but I don't think everyone's doing the Aleister Black or Malakai Black back kicks in AEW. So,
all right, we got another tweet table. I don't know much about this person, but I think he's got a Big Johnson. At The Awesome Voice says, JR said, cowboy, she isn't it? And I lost my she isn't it. Hashtag #TweetTheTable. And I just wanted to talk about Hangman again. God damn.
I love it. God, it's so much fun. I said this before we started recording as we were waiting for our 7:30 Central Standard Time, which we do each and every Thursday night. And in the one true time zone. And you can join us on YouTube just like Big Josh and the Ultimate One. But before we started that at 7:30 Central Time, again, the one true time zone, I mentioned to you that the Hangman Adam Page storyline right now is at the level, and now they're not doing the crazy moments that I'm about to say, but it's still like so good that it washes away some of the bad elements of the show. But this reminds me of how much I enjoyed Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Mr. McMahon. Again, different elements. Stone Cold and Mr. McMahon was just how far can we push the envelope? We're ruining Corvettes and we're bringing in beer trucks. And then that made you forget, like, Goldust is going to be a cross-dresser and wrestle Brian Pillman for Marlena. And that was fucking dog shit, right? And where Hangman is just killing it on all levels, I'm all into it. So I forget that, like, Matt Hardy's not great anymore. And let's get him off TV. Like, I forgive that because what they're giving me with Hangman is just so fucking good, man.
So good. So good. At The Rebel Trucker again says, hashtag #TweetTheTable. Please tell me Thatcher coming off as incompetent is just his character, or is he really that lost in the ring? If it's not his character, he'll never make the main roster. I think there are some moments I think where I get what he's saying, where Thatcher may not necessarily be aware of the spot and the moment of the thing, and maybe that's why he's NXT and not going to the main roster. I haven't seen a whole lot from Thatcher that makes me think like main roster ready either. I think they were starting to do that. Like, he was having that kind of Stu Hart style, class, but they went away from that. And now I don't know what you do with Thatcher now.
You know what I would do with them? And you had mentioned this show about a month and a half ago of how much you liked it. And then because I don't think they have star power, I don't think you've watched it since. Now I'm just speaking on your behalf, so maybe correct me if I'm wrong. But I would send Timothy Thatcher, who's just a grizzled wrestling veteran, to NXT UK. And I get it. Everyone over there is NXT. But send an American over there who says, I'm the, sore thumb in this promotion. And you put Timothy Thatcher versus Walter, and that's money every time.
It's close to watching it today. I pulled up and I was like,
Yeah. But you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I understand what the purpose of NXT UK is. And I'm not saying let's just put all the foreigner, Americans in there that's not getting over in WWE. But I think they need a sprinkle of a Timothy Thatcher or maybe a pop-up of a Tommaso Ciampa over there because it fits that European style. And who else is Walter going to beat up? He's going to have that rematch with Ilya Dragunov, or however you say his last name. And so it's like that first match was amazing. Physicality off the charts. But, like, you going to do it again? I don't think you can. No offense. But, like, Walter and Timothy Thatcher, that sounds like money to me.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, final one here. At The Ultimate One says, another cold and bland debut by AEW. Malakai Black deserved better. Hashtag #TweetTheTable. And I agree with that. I felt underwhelmed by it.
The only thing I felt underwhelmed about is that it was Cody. If Malakai Black does that to Kenny Omega, right? Does the spinning back kick to Don Callis and then does the spinning back kick to Kenny Omega and says like, you're the heel, but I'm the ultimate devil. Oh shit. Right. Like that's fun. But to your point, Cody, and again, it's not Cody's fault, but we've talked about this a couple different times. Cody's running through all of his storylines like super quick to the point where you even said like another friend doesn't like him. And it's because we've already played that note a couple times. So I think the spot was cool, right? They need some more lights out, lights come on. Cause that's a pro wrestling trope that's going to live on forever. Right. So yeah, I like it. Right. I mean, I don't hate that.
Happened to us in the show a couple times. Maybe
yeah, exactly.
Maybe that's why this glitch keeps happening. It's because we're pissing off Malakai Black.
Or maybe MJF's trying to come after me. Hey, bitch, fucking raise up that coin or else I'm coming after you again. I got another fan waiting. Maybe. You'll see. But I just think it would have hit bigger if it was with someone else. But that's not Cody's fault. But man, they've ran through all of his storylines.
That's it. And we ran through all the Tweet the Table. So join us next week. What?
You know what would have been really cool. Now, you can't ruin the storyline. You can't ruin the storyline. But you should have sat on Malakai Black because once Hangman... So you have Hangman lose to Kenny Omega. The Dark Order...
Shut your mouth.
But look, this is what you do. Think about this. Then you're getting everyone going like, what the fuck? In my opinion. Fantasy booking here to end the show because I like it. You go all out because that's where I think this story ends. But you have Hangman come up short. He still doesn't believe in himself. But he knows that he's got his good friends, the Dark Order. So Wednesday night on Dynamite, Hangman walks to the ring. Hey, I'm 0 for 2 in championship matches. I lost here in Chicago against Jericho.
You guys told me
I
it was
lost
okay
here again.
to lose.
Yeah, I lost here again to Kenny Omega, but my friends, the Dark Order, they got my back. Dark Order walks out, and they're like, hey, Hangman, you are a fucking loser. Lights go out. Malakai Black comes up. Malakai Black is the new leader of the Dark Order. They go back to being like, we're fucking people up here.
So that's it. Yeah. So fucking Evil Uno comes out and he's like, Hangman, you lost. We told you it'd be okay to lose because we honestly believe that, right? Like it's okay to lose, but we've been made to understand that we were wrong to believe that. You know what I mean? And then lights go out.
Malakai Black does the black mass, and then you get Hangman going up against the Dark Order with a new leader. And again, I would not disrespect Brody Lee, but you just say like that old Dark Order is not the Dark Order of today. And, you do a refresh on the Dark Order stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if they're ever going to go away from that until that.
I don't either, but that's what I would do. Yeah. That would be fun.
Yep. All right. Well, you know what else is fun? Hashtag Tweet the Table. So join us next week. Use hashtag Tweet the Table throughout this week on Twitter, and we will read your tweets here next week when we come 1 week shy of our 8-year anniversary. Tom, should we find the Buff Bagwell of the Bullet Club? See if he'll come on the show.
Yeah. I really think Disco Inferno, NWO Wolfpack should be coming on the show.
I like that. All right. Well, until next time, I don't know if I can watch more wrestling.
The Spanish announce table.